The most massive thing I've ever seen. To tell you the honest truth, I thought, well, we're the only ones left on this planet. Something's happened. You've missed something here.
The fear that went in me when I seen it was just like the feeling. I'd say it was fear, but I've never felt that feeling before in my entire life.
It's a weird feeling, like you can't explain it when you don't know. You feel like you're being followed, but you don't know what it is.
We had two to our right, another one in front of us, another one to the left, and another one just across the road, shaking the daylights out of the tree. All we get was big red eyes.
I remember waking up and looking at the end of the bed, and there was a figure there, almost insect-like, and then I blacked out.
Welcome to the show, everyone. You are listening to Believe, Paranormal and UFO Radio. My name is Kade Moir, and thanks for tuning in. If you've had an encounter, get in touch with me. My email address is believe@ccradio.com.au, or you can message me on Facebook at facebook.com/Believe UFO Radio. If you enjoy this episode, there are a few things you can do to help the show. Firstly, you can go to iTunes and leave us a 5-star rating and review, or you can share the show around social media with your friends and family, and that will help us grow. Hey guys, welcome to the live stream. Sorry about the little bit of audio trouble that we had there. Still have a little bit of a ghost in the machine, which is playing havoc on me from the last update that I did. But we got there in the end, and we finally got the audio going on. So that is fantastic. So for those who are new to the live streams, we do this once a month, and we're actually going to be doing these every Monday. The first Friday of the month. So if you like these, be sure to hang around, because we will be doing these quite regularly. So just before we get into the show, we want to get a couple of things out of the way first. If you like the show and you want to support it, you can do that by joining Believe Plus. Now, you can do this on Patreon, so you can go to patreon.com/BelievePod, and you'll be able, I think it's BelievePod, and you'll be able to find us on there, and you'll be able to support the show. It's only about $4 a month, and you'll get yourself a little bit of access to some new bonus episodes, or you can do that on the website, which is BelievePod.com. And every dollar that you support the show with helps keep the show going. Now, this episode is a really, really special one, because we have got Jackie joining us from episode 31, Yowie Terror in Far North Queensland. And a lot of you won't know this, but that is easily one of our most downloaded shows of all time. It's really, really popular. Jackie went through an absolutely terrifying experience, and she was kind enough to come on our show and share the encounters that she's been through, because she actually went through a little bit of, trouble with the local media in the area, and I guess trouble online as well. So I was very, very grateful that she came on the show to share her amazing encounters. So, Jackie, you are currently on the phone there. Jackie, welcome to the show.
Hi, Kade.
It is so great to have you on the show, and it's really, really great because I'm excited. You have a couple of extra little things to tell us about your encounters that you didn't want to share when you first came on the show, just because of there was a couple of things that you just weren't too comfortable sharing at that time, and we totally respect that. But there was also some things that you just want to share because you kind of omitted them as well by accident. So for the people who are new to, I guess, the show and things like that, do you want to give us a rundown of, I guess your encounter that you shared in episode 31.
Yeah, sure. I rented a house in Valley. It was on 172 acres of land. The landlord actually had cattle on the farm there. So, and I had my youngest son, who was 8 at the time. I had my 16-year-old son and my niece, who later came and lived with me a few months later. And I actually built a little veggie garden in the backyard, and that's when in the first week I moved there, and that's when I heard the rocks getting thrown on the roof. The landlord just put brand new gravel down on the driveway, but not on my driveway towards the house. And in the morning when I woke up, I found those rocks. They had been perfectly thrown on the roof, bounced off the roof, and landed in that small veggie garden. And I picked up a small handful of them. There was a few there. But I thought them was birds or something throwing nuts or dropping nuts or something like that. And then we started to hear animal growls near the bathroom. So because the house was so old, it had a bathroom about 6 or 7 meters from the back door. So we had to go outside to go and have a shower and go to the bathroom, you see. And we heard demonic animal growls because we were busting and we would fly out the back door to run to the bathroom. And whatever was there obviously startled it. And, there was a time when I went out there with the light of my phone and looking in the tree. There was a tree right next to the house. And I can't believe I did that. But anyway, I couldn't see anything at the time until later on. We did see a silhouette of someone squatting at the cattle paddock. It was a very dark, black, dense energy figure. And my niece had seen it and I had seen it, and then I decided to walk up to it, and I was 4 meters away from it when I bent over to have a very good look. But it only come there when it was on dark, but only sometimes. I didn't always see it there. And that's when I saw that it had an athletic body, a very black, hollow eyes. You didn't see its eyes. It was just a very hollow blackness to them. And he had an energy around him. And he was quite muscular. And, so I ran inside, and I was too petrified to even turn around. And I looked out the kitchen window, and he was gone. And then it wasn't until we heard someone coming up the veranda. My niece saw a silhouette standing at her glass shutter doors, and from her bedroom. She actually thought she had an entity in her bedroom once, and I didn't quite figure out till later on it was that other creature, mysterious creature that was squatting in the cattle field, that was in her room in the corner squatting.
And I can't get over that. I really can't get over that. That is probably the most terrifying part of this whole story there, Jackie.
Yeah. And, we used to sleep with the windows open, and they were huge windows. Anyway. And then we heard the footsteps up the veranda a lot. We heard someone walking around all the time. And I told the landlord. He said notify the police, and it took me a while because I'm not into them, and trying to avoid calling coppers. So, and it wasn't until one day I finally bought a security torch with a bat on it because I was going to get whoever it was walking around the property, and I heard something walking through the cattle field, and that's when I shined the torch and I saw the baby on the tree. Obviously, later on, I could tell that was the mother behind the tree, and then the father, who was a good 9 foot high, about 5 meters from the tree, just standing there, just staring. And my niece, I called my niece out, and we both stood there and saw it. And then they started to hang around and jumping on the roof to eat the rats and having a little chatter in the background. So there was 3 sort of yowies. I think they are yowies, but they're a different type. So there was a family of them, the father, the mother, and the baby. And then the other mysterious creature was completely different from them, but he interacted with them, and he was the one that used to climb on the roof and get the rats for them. And he had a screaming language, like he would just scream like it was in agonizing pain. And they could communicate with each other in the backyard. So, and then I had a vibration above the roof. Obviously, that was the UFO, sounded like an engine idling.
strange phenomenon in the house would happen. We had a strange rain phenomenon where it pissed down with rain very, very hard, but there's no rain, even though you can hear it dripping from the gutters. And the clock would tick and they had no batteries. You know, there was a strange energy in the house once where fingers stretched out, which was extremely weird. I still find it hard to even talk about that part. But, and I had other things happen, but I never have, never come out with it because of the local media. They were causing a bit of issues with my story, twisting it and then trying to take the piss out of me. So, but I'm happy to reveal it tonight.
Yeah, and that's, like, it's just dead set shit that media outlets are still trying to do that type of crap in this day and age.
Well, see, I've never had to experience that before, like with reporters or anything. I'll never speak to them again, no way. Yeah.
It's kind of good. They leave me alone with what I do. And because you and I, we're from the same city. Not a lot of people actually know this. You and I live in the same small coastal tropical city here in Cairns. And they kind of leave me alone, which is fantastic because I think they probably listen to the episodes and know I'm not going to give them anything, which is really, really good. But for them to do that to you, who's had these actually genuinely terrifying encounters, it's just shit. That's all I can say.
Yeah, well, I kept it a secret, you see, for 3 years.
Oh, really?
And
3 years?
Yeah. And I rang up one of the Yowie hunters I found on Google, and I just wanted some information if anyone's seen what I had seen up here. And then he said, what happened? And I said, well, what's going to happen with my story? And he goes, oh, we keep it in the archives. It backdates to the 1800s. We have a big library. We just keep it there. I didn't know he was recording me. And then he put me on YouTube. And actually I saw the notification because I was looking at his YouTube channels and it said Yowie in Tarzali and it was me. And I was extremely upset about that. And then I was in the papers the next day.
Yeah, wow. It you know what? It really is what it is. But I mean, I'm grateful that you came on the show and we shared your story in the right way with your permission, without anything kind of getting skewed in the message. You know, it's you're there telling the story, which is absolutely fantastic. So, look, what we might do is, are you able to tell us about a couple of these other things that happened? Because you were telling me before we got on the air, and I was crapping myself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It continues. Well, the other part of the story at what happened in Tarzali that I didn't reveal was in the interview when I was telling you about how there was a vibration above the roof with a swirling noise, and then it sounded like a truck idling. Obviously, that was a UFO. And I looked outside and I looked up on out the window to the roof and I couldn't see anything. When I went to sleep that night, I actually got abducted from my bed.
You're kidding?
And no, I'm not kidding. And it actually scared the crap out of me. I used to always keep awake until I could not keep awake anymore because I was listening to everything around that house. All the kids and I slept in one room. I had door stoppers, those rubber ones against the doors. I had the dresser against the window. I had sticks behind the window. And we even peed in the bucket. So we weren't going outside, right? It was lockdown. And that night, I was laying in bed. I finally fell asleep and I had this bad vibration in my head. And I've experienced this in the past, which is another story. But it feels like your head's against a bus and you hear that like vibration in your head.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, and the next thing, I'm above the house in this completely see-through, crystal clear craft. It was like it was made out of glass, but it wasn't made out of glass. It was crystal clear. You could see the night sky, you could see the stars, and there was this man sitting at this, obviously it was a little desk, but it was made out of glass, and it was moulded into the craft. Same with whatever he was sitting on was made out of glass or was moulded as well. And there was this clear, crystal clear, large tablet that was above him. It looked like it was floating there, just sitting there. And it looked like some type of map or grid was on there. And he looked like a normal person. He had a white lab jacket or cape on. And I just I could walk. Well, I wasn't walking around really, but I wasn't paralyzed. And I was really upset. I just knew that they had the two kids in the craft in another room.
Oh, you're kidding.
And I was very, very angry. And I was swearing at him. Oh, my God. I went off. I said, I demand you to bring us back home right now. And I kept repeating that. And I said, who the hell do you think you are? I said, I'm over this shit. I said, you've done it all my life, which, that's another story. But this was completely different. This was worse. And anyway, because I was going off my nut, I was thrown back from the roof into my bed that hard that I was still bouncing on my bed, trying to get up to grab the kids to make sure they were there. My niece slept on the floor and my young son slept with me on my bed. And my head hurt a bit because of the vibration. My temples hurt and stuff like that. So I was really upset over that. And another time was I believe that was some type of military craft, because I had rung up the Navy and the Army when I first saw them. I was actually petrified. I'd never seen anything like this before. And I told them where I lived. And I can tell by the guy, he wasn't an alien-looking thing. He wasn't a grey. He was a normal-looking guy. He had a normal lab scientist white jacket on. He wasn't telepathic either. And he did lean over to his shoulder a little bit when I was in the craft, and it looked like I couldn't see a microphone, but he sort of leant over to his shoulder and whispered something. And that's when I was thrown back in my bed.
Wow.
So, yeah. And later on, I remember looking at the time. It was actually 11 o'clock. I always get that number, 1111, 111.
You know what? I always get 444.
See, I get them all.
Really?
All of them. 222, 323. Oh, yeah. And one night I heard someone flying down the road. Now, where I lived in Towers Valley, there's a backtrack that goes to Malanda. And that's where a lot of locals go the back way when they've been drinking, right? And they go home that way. And it's a long dirt track. And it goes for quite a while. And I remember this car just flying, because I used to go out on the veranda to have a cigarette. This car flying down the dirt. Well, it was part dirt then and then bitumen. Coming down the road. And then I come inside. And I heard someone going up and down the driveway. Now, there was a big long driveway on the property, and there was there was two houses on the property, and there was one right up the end, and then the old cottage up at the front. And I heard someone going up, down, but not on my driveway, just on the main long driveway in front of the cottage. And I thought, who the hell's going up, down, up, down, up, down? So I come outside, and there's this vehicle. It was a sedan. It was black. And I remember looking at it thinking, what's a nice, flash, black, shiny car doing on my driveway? And it was just sitting there idling. But the car was on, but you couldn't hear the engine though. So when I say idle, I mean like the car was still on, but you couldn't hear anything. You couldn't hear the engine or anything. It was really quiet. Everything was really, really quiet. And I had the worst feeling. And it's just sitting there in front of the house. And that was it for me. I went in and shut the door. And I started to do my homework. And then I didn't realise that this could have been like a Men in Black. But I didn't know anything about that stuff until I started to, because I was full on Google. I'm looking at creatures and aliens and like, what the hell is this and that? And, what does a UFO sound like? And, things like that. And then I get this Men in Black and I'm like, whoa, hang on. And, but it looked like, because I've owned a few old cars, like I had an EH, an XY, stuff like that in my past. And this was it looked like an old car, but it was in very good condition. Like it looked like it was brand new, but an older sort of fashion car. It looked more like a Statesman.
Yeah,
because of the straight edges. Yeah. Yeah. And I heard a knock on the door. I heard 3 knocks. And I went to the kitchen to look out to see who it was, and there was no one there. So I thought, I'm not opening that door.
That's incredible.
Mm.
What happened then? Did they just leave, or did they
left?
Oh, really?
And they went back the same way. And it's like that, to go that back way, to go to Miranda, I mean, it takes an hour's drive. And most of that's dirt in the back, that back track. So, yeah. And I thought that was really odd. Especially someone going up, down, up, down, up, down, and then just sit there at the front.
Yeah, wow. That's incredible, Jackie. I cannot fathom how you would have stayed in this place that long with everything that's been going on, and the fact that you've now thrown this abduction case into the mix. I'm absolutely thrown. It's incredible. It's amazing. All the credit to you. The Facebook chat group here has absolutely lit up, and people are just applauding you. They are quite amazed with everything that you've been through, and it's absolutely incredible. What I reckon we do is are you comfortable with us maybe opening up the phone lines to let people call in and perhaps ask you a couple of questions? I guess in regards to any of your experiences there, because I'm sure people would have questions about, I guess, firstly, the family of Yowies that you got there, this unknown creature, which might be a rake, it could be a ghoul, it could be...
Yeah, I didn't like that one. I had a very negative vibe about him.
Yeah, who knows, even by the sounds of it now, maybe it could have been an alien that was hanging, I guess, part of this group with these Yowies. Who knows, there's really nothing out of bounds now, because... with everything that you've been through, that's quite incredible. So look, to anyone who's listening, the phone lines are open, and the number is 0730403094. So I'm just going to pop that into the chat really, really quickly. But yeah, Jackie, that's totally amazing and incredible. And I could understand the apprehension for you wanting to call in when you first were on the show, to wanting to talk about that, because I mean, it's already really hard to talk about the Yowie encounters that you've had, because they were so full on. And I
know, and it's all I think about every day. You know, it just lives with me.
Yeah. And do you regularly go up to that house? Or that property?
I don't go back to that house. No, that place is being rented out. I go near the property because I leave them gifts and things like that.
And you said before, you were saying before we got on the air here, you said that you had the baby following you, the baby Yowie.
Last week, when I went to Charles Valley, and I went in a particular spot where I leave them, I usually leave them nuts and stuff like that. But this time I made them a rat trap, right? And which will give them a good half a bucket of rats. It's just one of those ones that you find on YouTube with a big bucket, and then they eat the seeds and they drop in and the flap just comes back up. So I made one of them. And this time I actually got a little ball for the baby that I leave as a gift. And it was a see-through clear ball with little pretty stars in it. And I thought represent, the stars in the sky and things like that. So I was after this particular ball. And then that day, Mum was watching the little one, and I went back to the holiday home because I'm allowed to stay there the night and clean. And then that afternoon, I captured a UFO just near me again. I'm always capturing UFOs up there.
And is that the UFO capture that you made international news for?
Oh, no, that was the first one. Yeah. And, this one was just last week. So this all happened on one day.
Wow.
And then so Mum left, and then I stayed there the night, and I was on the veranda having a cigarette, and it's a large front yard, and it overlooks the Lake Barine. And I saw something in the corner of my eye, because I parked my ute just on the side of the veranda. And I saw something in the corner of my eye, and I thought, shit, that's big. What the hell's that? And then I thought, oh, hang on. Nah, they wouldn't come here, would they? And I have heard over the months someone walking around the place. And I had another friend I've known for 29 years. She come up and she heard someone walking around. And I never said anything to her. And then she saw that UFO. She was with me on that day.
Wow.
And she was absolutely petrified. And then we stayed for 2 nights. And then she was going, look, I can hear someone walking around. And I said, well, I'll tell you a story.
Hey, Jackie.
And that was it.
We've actually got a call in if you're ready to take some questions.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Caller, you're live on the air.
Hello, Kade.
G'day. Who do we have here?
Truck your witness, Witherin.
Oh, mate. How are you?
I'm great, mate. How are you?
Very good. I've got the 2 most popular Yowie Encounter episodes that I've ever done on the same episode. I'm a very lucky boy tonight.
Awesome. How are you, Jackie?
I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah, that's good. I was just wondering, my question is, did you ever feel ill or suppressed with any of your encounters? Like, did you feel like you might have, there was no sickness or overbearing weight or anything? Like, nothing?
No, I never had anything like that. No.
Yeah.
No, I never got sick or, yeah.
All
yeah,
right.
just a lot of fear. But,
It's
nice talking to you. More power to you, Jackie. I think you're an awesome lady and must be very, very brave. I know how scary it can be and how it can change your outlook on life. So, yeah, all the best to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for talking. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
So that was Truckee Witness, and he was actually a guest on an episode. He had a really, really just like yourself, he had an internationally famous encounter with a Yowie there, and it actually hit his truck.
Oh, I heard that one.
Yeah, and
yeah, okay. Yeah, I listened to it on your.
Yeah, and it was incredible. It was an absolutely incredible encounter. He actually has, much like yourself, he has these, I guess, sketches of these creatures. And I tell you what, there's a very strong similarity between the two that you two have seen, and it just goes to show that these are an Australia-wide type of, I guess, a phenomenon, a creature, because I guess they really are a creature. They are flesh and blood. So.
Yeah, they are.
And look, Jackie, we're getting questions from the Facebook chat here. People want to hear more about the creature that was with the Yowies. Are you able to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure.
So
yeah,
if you just want to go in, maybe I think a lot of people are interested in what did it look like?
It looked very similar to the one that you see on the internet, the white creature in front of the hunter's camera. But he had more of an athletic figure, like he had muscly arms. And it was like he was completely toned.
Yeah, right.
But you couldn't see his eyes, but they were very black, hollow eyes. And now he was a black figure. He also had a dark dent, only a small dent of energy around him. So he wasn't completely outlined like we are. And but his eyes were blacker than him. And he had a little slit of a mouth that was black.
Wow.
So, and he used to just sit there and squat and stare. And he only come out when it was just on dark. And he was trying to camouflage himself in the tall dark grass of the paddock, you see. So we kept going past, into the toilet and come back and having a look and thinking, hang on, it does that look like someone's squatting? And then my niece mentioned it, and I saw it one day. I thought, no, I'm going up to it. And yeah, it definitely was something. But they used to jump on the roof and get the rats for the yowies. He used to climb up the water tank along the pipeline and then onto the roof. And he obviously had claws. I didn't see them when I went up to him, but you could hear his claws scratching into the gutters as he grabbed the rat, and then you hear a whack. It would break its neck, and then climb around again and grab more rat.
And for those who are probably just who weren't here at the start, this is also the creature that made its way into your house.
Yeah, into my niece's bedroom.
That,
and he used to sit there and squat in the corner.
and how often did that happen?
Well, it happened a couple of times, and she goes, I think I can see entities. And I said, well, when you see in the room again, let me know. And then she didn't see it after that. It wasn't until later on that we figured out what was actually in her room. It was what was squatting in the paddock just near the house. The paddock was wrapped around the back of the house and the side of the house. So it wasn't that far. It was a good maybe 10 minutes from my back door to the paddock.
Yeah, that's really close.
It was quite close, yeah.
And did you ever tell your landlord about any of this stuff that was going on?
I told him that someone's walking around the property and that someone had thrown rocks. That was the first week. I actually picked up the rocks, and he used to come around every day. He tends to the cattle, he does this or whatever he does. And I actually showed him the rocks, and he goes, we just thought it was really strange. And I said, well, someone's throwing rocks. I thought it was birds in the tree dropping nuts or whatever. And then he even offered to put his 2 rock wheelers at the front of the veranda. But I said, are they any good with the kids? And he said, no. And I said, well, I'd rather them not be here, you know. And I had Josh, he was only little. I don't want him getting eaten by his dog.
No, of course not.
Yeah. And when I rang the police, they said, oh, we could do a drive-by. And I said, there's no use doing that. Someone just only has to lay in the grass. You know, you're not going to see someone. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Jackie, we've just got another caller in. Do you want to take another question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's get him on the air. Caller, you're live on the air.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Oh, hi. Sorry. Hi, it's Jenny. Look, I'm really fascinated about the other creature that you're talking about. Now, has that got any relation to the Yowies, or is it completely separate? Do they work together, or?
They obviously work together. Yeah, they definitely affiliate with each other. And that creature was helping out the Yowie family by getting the rats on the roof. I mean, the Yowies were too heavy, and even the baby was 4 foot, but it's quite a large baby. So it'd probably break that water pipe if it tried to attempt to climb on the roof. And but it wasn't the same, no.
So when you hear about other Yowie encounters, I haven't ever heard about this creature before. So do you think that's a one-off, or do you think they sort of link in with them as well?
I just know from my own experience that one hung around with them and was helping to feed them. And, I mean, obviously that creature could do things that obviously they couldn't do, you see. So that was just it at the back of the water tank. You hear them having a quick chatter. They sort of chatter. It sounds like someone talking really quickly. And the other creature would scream and, and then climb down and obviously give them the rats, and then they'll take off. So,
wow.
Yeah. And he was very quick, very, very quick, that creature.
Yeah. Look, thank you for that, because I did actually listen to your episode when it came out, and I was actually quite fascinated. And I actually feel for you. I wouldn't be as brave as you. I can tell you that. So thank you for answering my question.
No worries,
okay,
Jenny.
thank you. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks for calling
in.
Bye.
That's really fascinating because it never really occurred to me that this other creature would have been I guess a lightweight compared to the Yowies, in the sense that it's a lighter creature, it's a smaller frame type of thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but there was one time, because we used to hear it on the roof, and my niece and I would sit in the lounge absolutely terrified, going, here we go. And there was one night where I was attempting to jump in the car, and I had it all set up with her. I said, one night when they jump on the roof, when I say now, we're going to get in that car, you know, and you run in with Josh and I'll be right behind you, and you grab that phone and you start filming it. And as we're walking very quietly along the floor, to the back door, it was walking with us on the roof. So it was very telepathic. And also one night we heard it sound like it was actually in the roof. And it's running around catching these rats. And I said to Laura, sounds like it's in the roof. And she goes, yeah. And I said, well, how the hell did it get in the roof? And then I walked up to the pantry. There was a large food pantry, and there was the manhole there. And I stood there with a knife watching that manhole, thinking, if you come through, I'm going to stab it. And it didn't. But I realised later on during the interview when I was saying when I had that date, and he come around and he grabbed my torch and went around the back because he wanted to have a look at them. And it screamed all the way down the hill, and then it touched the lake, the water, and then teleported back within 2 seconds. So then it wasn't until later on I figured out it was teleporting inside the roof.
Teleporting?
It got in the roof, yeah.
Wow, far out. And what goes through your head when that type of creature is up there in your roof? You got your kids in the house.
Yeah, thinking I'm ready for it to. Well, we can't leave because it would follow you on the roof while you're walking inside the house to the back door, so we couldn't leave. We had nowhere else to go. I was even looking at caravan parks, anywhere just to get out of the house.
Did you feel
there was
trapped?
Nothing. Yeah, definitely trapped. And it was actually terrifying. I just kept thinking that I can't have anything happen to the children, but it was more of anything happened to me, I can't be there to protect my kids. So I had to do, I just had to just try and protect them and just get ready if they came in through the roof or through the glass doors, or I just didn't know what to expect. But they calmed down later on and, started putting meat out there and chicken. They didn't eat that. They didn't even eat my free-range chickens. They just sat on the clothesline in the bathroom. And they were very quiet. They never made a noise either, those chickens. So I think they were too scared to. Yeah.
Yeah, they've obviously seen these creatures roaming around. I don't blame them.
Yeah, well, they used to try and get into the chook pen down near the house as well. And one of my chickens did not move for a week. I went and checked on it and put food and water there, and I thought Mary was not well, and it did not move. And then one day I picked it up to take it to the house, and it was running around normal, and I got the 2 other chickens, because it was on its own, and that chicken was there when I first moved on the property. It was all by itself. And then it was happy as a Larry, had its new friends. I put it back in the pen, and it did the same thing. And then I saw this big rat's nest in there, and huge rats running around in the chook pen. And I was wondering why the door was always open. And the landlord said, can you stop letting the chicken out? And I said, well, I haven't let it out. So they were trying to get rats in there, and I think the chicken was that scared. That's why it didn't move. And then one day I went in there, and obviously the rats sucked at the blood. It had 2 punch marks on its neck. It was that terrified.
Wow. What do you think this other creature was, Jackie?
He was definitely a multi-dimensional type of being. It wasn't completely solid, but it wasn't see-through.
Do you think
it's like he was solid, but he had a dense energy around him?
It almost sounds like it was demonic.
Yeah, maybe that was the one that was growling, that demonic growl. And that's the one that, maybe that was one, because when I went to the bathroom, it hit the side of the bathroom that hard. And then I was stuck in the bathroom. I had to make an attempt to run back inside. I didn't know if it was the Yowie or the other creature, but I was doing my homework. Maybe it was that mysterious creature in the back.
Yeah, it's quite terrifying. And do you know if people are currently living in that house, in that property?
They did hear about the story. The reporter said that he spoke to the landlord, and he said that he didn't want the tenants to be, afraid and to move out. So apparently they're still there.
Do you think they're having the same encounters that you're having?
Well, he said that they haven't experienced anything, but I wouldn't believe anything he's got to say. He's not the nicest person, so yeah. And he lied to me a couple of times because I actually rang him up and spoke to him and apologised about the photo that was in the paper and that it wasn't me, and that this happened to me, and I kept it quiet. So I was the one that opened my mouth and told the reporters. And yeah, he was really angry and upset with me. And I said, "Don't you remember me showing you the rocks? Don't you remember offering me your 2 rock balloons?" He goes, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." So that was enough for me.
Yeah, right. So he just kind of went into denial about the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really unfortunate.
Mm.
And I'm wondering if it's happening to the current residents, or maybe you're chosen. Do you ever have that kind of thought?
Well, yeah, because I do. I've had things all my life. We had a UFO over the house when I was 2.5. I actually remember that. I was actually petrified. The whole house was lit up in red light. My mum ran to every window, and it sounded like, Mum said that the noise sounded like a trailer lost its wheels and was scraping along the bitumen road. It was that loud. A bit like a train with its brakes on. And it's a loud screeching noise, and it took off when she went outside. And, we've had certain things like that. I grew up seeing entities in my room. I don't think really they were thought forms. Now I figure out that I think it's more of something else, more multidimensional. And also I capture a lot of UFOs that are always around me, and I decided to video them. But a lot of mine disappear from my phone. So I worked out that I upload it straight away. And then it doesn't disappear. So, yeah, I think I'm more of a magnet. I've always been very different from everyone else. I'm extremely sensitive. I live on my own with my son. I'm a bit of a hermit, so, yeah, and I do see a lot of things that other people don't see. And,
because
yeah.
You captured one of, I guess, one of the more credible UFO videos that I've seen in a long time. I guess maybe half an hour out of Cairns, an hour out of Cairns. Do you want to tell us about that one, because that one made international news?
Yeah, well, I just got up there, and I had my old schoolmate, I was 29 years, she was with me to help me clean, and it was funny because I was outside and I put my arms up in the air in front of her and I said, "Get ready for some weird shit today." And she just looked at me, and because I told her a couple of little things that I've gone through, and it's funny that, because half an hour later I saw smoke coming from the national park, and I said, "Oh my God, what's that?" And I said, "Oh, it's those ugly fuckers again." Actually, you can hear it on my audio, but I ended up putting music over it. Yeah, so I changed it. Yeah, and she was absolutely petrified. And that looked like, see, a lot of people see the UFOs, it's more military, those silver disc-looking things. I mean, they're not all military, but a lot of them are. And they're out about to sort of slowly get people to sort of see that there are other things before they reveal the big, we do have aliens. But that was more of a multi-dimensional, it was a class sort of portal, because you could see near the end of the video a little, like an orb going into it. It was opening and slowly closing a little bit. It was moving, stretching out. And because we could see it a lot clearly than in the video, you see, and we were watching it, and it was like a tear. It was allowing something to come in and exit the planet, obviously. But then it just slowly dissolved and disappeared, and then it went to the mountains near more Mariba side. So from where I am at the holiday home, I had a huge view of the mountains from Mariba all the way to Atherton. And then that quickly disappeared, and then it came over the Atherton tablelands, and that's when I captured the second video. and they were expanding and doubling up and growing, and there was more of them. I think they went from 1 to 3, and there was a larger craft hiding in the clouds as well.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible, because I know you've sent me privately 2 videos. You've sent me the one of this big craft that's over the mountains that looks like it would be kilometers big. It would be huge, and I don't know if that was the perspective that you had in real life, but that's definitely how it looked in the video. But this other video that you sent me, and you're kind of asking me, Kade, you got to come up here and have a look at this. You need to bring a boat with you, because it's the only way we can get over there. And it's no
one would come with me.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest, it's a big ask. It's come over here and look at this crazy thing that's happening on the mountain with me. And
because I would make you walk first.
But what it was is this. It was like this cloud that was morphing through the trees, and it looked like it had almost like some sense of intelligence to it, which was
it had faces in it.
Yeah, it's really, really creepy. What do you think that is? What do you think that was?
I don't know. Obviously, showing me what sort of creatures they were. The only thing I could think of the similarity of that picture, of those faces, was the black creature I saw, but just more in a whiter colour, like through the white smoke. That's the only difference. It was just a different colour, but I think it was something to do with that other creature.
You think? You think it's just like a different version of it?
Yeah, but it's just it was showing me in the smoke. That was actually smoke coming out of the national park.
Right.
Yeah, I think something might have crash landed there, because then all of a sudden, when I filmed it, you see a light orb going from the national park into the back of that craft.
Wow, that's it. You know what? It's just a can of worms that just keeps giving, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I still want to go over there, but no one's got the balls to come over, and I need a boat.
Look, we're putting the call out. If you're in the Cairns area and you can get up to the Tablelands, there's some insanely spooky stuff going across the dam that we can go investigate as a team.
Yeah.
And look, I've got a lot of questions here in the chat window, because it seems like people are a little bit apprehensive to call up. I think they might be a bit scared of asking the questions about these types of creatures, because they are really unknown. It's such a weird and
it is. It is.
It's a terrifying creature. But people are asking if you've ever found. So I might just relay some of these questions to you, if you don't mind. Have you found that you found random UFOs or random crafts or unknown things in photos that you've taken?
Oh, so what was that again?
Have you ever found random UFOs in the sky, or like random creatures or anything in photos that you've taken?
No, and I've never really looked into that. Only recently, since I've been filming, I really look at the videos and see if there's anything that I've missed. But I did have something else happen to me only yesterday.
Do you want to share what that was?
Yeah, I wake up at 4:30. I never wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and the silly birds are going off, and and I couldn't get back to sleep. And then the whole home is a large glass doors that expand right out, and they're about a good 6-7 meters long. So like half the house opens up. But I never open them though. And and there's big what do you call them? Those curtains, the ones that you use for theatre curtains, those plastic draw down blinds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got them along the glass doors, and it looked like someone's car was at the back. It had this huge white light, and I was just laying there awake, just looking, and then I saw that, so I quickly got up and ran out, and I'm thinking, who's that on the property? And there was nothing, no one, no car, and it's pretty much the last house, and everyone's properties, they're on a good acre or two, so and there's a vacant property next door as well, so I'm thinking, no one's there. Didn't hear anything, didn't hear a car, because I'm very observant now. And then I come back in, and then the lights come inside the house where the laundry was, and it showed the outline of the cupboard onto the wall.
You're kidding
and
me.
Then it disappeared, and I went up to it, because I've got some balls now.
Yeah, what is wrong with you?
And I looked, and the only thing under that cupboard is a vacuum and a blower, and that's it. There's no... It's like there was some light that went under it, because it shows the reflection of... It's like a cupboard. It's just like a big desk, but there's no drawers underneath. It's just a big hole, and it just has a vacuum under it. And, there's a light to the fridge there, but that's encased with with the cupboards around it. So I'm trying to figure out where this light comes from, and I had no idea.
What do you think it was?
I don't know. I get all different types. I never really get the same thing, but I always got something going on.
Do you think it's good, or do you think it's bad?
Well, it makes it hard to figure it out, because you sort of shoot yourself, and you can't sort of settle down your nerves and think clearly, because you have so much fear. It's very complicated. It's very confusing. But it's definitely something with me. It's not the homes or the places that I go to that has something. I think it's me. And that's the scariest part.
It really is, and especially after your abduction encounter, because people are asking, have you ever gone to get checked to see if you've got any implants or anything like that? Any foreign materials or stuff like that in you?
No, but what I did was I had to be tricky. I went to the doctors because I just said I want a full scan of everything. I said to her that I've had pains in my head, on and off for a long time, and I just want to have a checkup. So I haven't gone for the X-ray and all that yet, but that was my way of finding out. I mean, I couldn't just say to the doctor, "Hey."
I think I was taken.
She put me in a loony bin. So, yeah, so that was my way of trying to get around it. So I haven't gone in yet, but I do have all the paperwork and all that, the referrals. Sorry. So.
Do you find these experiences to be more positive than negative, Jackie?
Well, both.
Yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah, it is, because I can have some good experiences and I can have some negative ones as well. And even though what happened with me in Taos Valley absolutely terrified me and my niece, they never caused me any harm. And that sort of made me feel a bit better. That's why, I went back and leave them some gifts and stuff like that. And I knew that wouldn't cause me any harm. Otherwise, I would have done it. I mean, that was on the property with me for 11 and a half months. So.
And this might be a weird question, but do you ever miss these creatures?
In a way, I would like to get, I like to get closer to them, because I wanted to sort of learn from them, and they can learn from me. I do in a way, but I shit myself.
Yeah.
Like, I'm absolutely petrified. Like, when I went in and left gifts in the forest, you hear a ooh, and you could tell it sounded like a human doing a hoo. It wasn't an owl. And I'm like, whoa, okay, I'm going to jump in my car and go now. Like, I quickly run. Hey, I'm off. But I still have the guts to go out there and do that. But that day when I did that last week and left that gift and I actually made that rat trap for them, when I returned back, I caught a UFO in that late afternoon. And then at around the 8 o'clock mark, the baby ran past, but I saw something that caught my eye and hid behind my car, and I thought, well, what was that? It was pretty big. And it moved very quickly, and I thought, shit, that was big. I thought, well, hang on, that might be them. And then I saw it again, and it was like a monkey running sideways, like very, very quickly. And I thought, oh, that's the baby. And so I have heard at the holiday home someone walking around, and but I haven't seen them since until last week.
How far away is this holiday home from that original property?
Yeah, got on the map straight away. 30 k's.
Yeah, wow. And they found you?
Yeah, I think they might have, I don't know if they followed me when I was driving, I don't know. But when I saw that little one scoot past me, and I saw it a lot better the second time. It was very, very quick. And when I first saw the female crawling and then getting up and then walking away from the tree, she walked in big, long strides, and she looked slow. And so that's what made me a little confused when I saw the baby. Like that, it moved that quick. And so it did a couple of loops around the house. And that's when I thought, yeah, it's definitely them walking around again.
Wow. And
they're hanging around.
How clearly did you see the baby?
I just saw a good glimpse of it. I saw enough for it to go like, like a quick. It was like it was running sideways, like a monkey. And I didn't even know they could run sideways. I haven't even looked that up yet.
Is it almost like it didn't know how to walk properly?
No. It just quickly crouched down and went side to side as it was like very, very quickly. So it wasn't running forward. It was crouched down running sideways. And as it just did it's like it did two hops, but you couldn't see it bounce. It was that quick.
It definitely sounds very primate in the way that it's moving.
Yeah, it is. Because when I saw it on the tree, the baby, because it's about 4 foot, it hasn't grown since.
Really?
It's still the same. Yeah, so it must take a very long time for them to become adults.
Yeah.
Maybe it takes.
Well, it's such an interesting thing because we don't know anything about these creatures. You know, they might have a life expectancy or a life. They might live for 200, 300, 400 years. We don't know. Yeah,
I think they must live for a very long time because when I saw that, straight away I said, Mom, it hasn't grown. And she's like, what?
What does your mom think of it all?
Oh, she shits herself. She goes, yeah, I'm going home now. And off she goes because she lives in Atherton.
Yeah, right.
And she comes and sees me when I clean the holiday home and she's like, yeah, I'm going now.
Don't blame her. Don't blame her at all.
Yeah, and then I have to come outside. You know, sometimes she leaves at night. She goes, but she doesn't stay for too long. She goes, I have to go. So I have to go out there with her, and it just freaks me out. But I think what really freaks me out is to see them again because they're so different. I'm just not used to. Well, no one's used to seeing something like that. But you just absolutely shit yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I'm worried I might have a bloody heart attack.
I don't know how you got the courage to go do the things that you do and, you know, go into the bush and leave them gifts to, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't go too far in the bush though. Well, because I grew up in the rainforest in the danger, so I hate snakes, spiders, like stinging plants. So I went enough in, but I didn't go right in.
Yeah, wow. Still.
Because they'll probably be in the trees, you know.
Yeah.
And and they got extra long arms, so they're very good for climbing, obviously.
Yeah. Well, look, I think we might leave it there tonight, Jackie. It's been fantastic having you on the podcast again, answering people's questions, and for the handful of people that called in, thank you for doing that. Your questions were fantastic. And, I just wanted to thank you again for coming on, Jackie. Thank you for giving us the other little bits of information. You know, the fact that you're an abductee, that's incredible. the fact that this has been going on your whole life, that's even more incredible. And the fact that this baby followed you to a whole different part of the tablelands is scary as shit.
Yeah, because now I'm shooting myself being up there. It's like, I don't think I can really go too far up there before I start hanging around.
Will there be a time when you just don't go up there anymore?
No, I'm going to move back up there.
I feel like we're going to get a lot more stories from you.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that they'll probably be in my backyard again, but even happier. Be like, oh, there's that human that we love so much. Oh, she's all with us.
You know what? If you do get another property up that way, or you do move back up that way, we might have to do a live broadcast from there and see if we can actually catch anything on camera.
Well, I was going to set the whole house up with cameras when I get one. That was my plan.
I don't blame you.
Everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. No blind
spots.
spots.
One pointing up from the roof.
Yes. All right. Well, look, I'm going to let you shoot off, but look, thank you for coming on the show, and look, thank you to everyone in the chat room and on the Facebook live streams for joining in. It's been absolutely fantastic. And look, guys, if you do want to support the show and get this happening more often, because the dream will be to do this as a full-time job, and the only way I can do that is by getting more people to support the show. And if you want to do that, become a Believe Plus member. You can do that on the website, or you can do that on Patreon. You get access to bonus episodes, things like that, a little extra podcast that I'm going to start doing, which is scary stories to listen to while you go